Praise the Lord. We can have our seats. Good morning. I honor you, Pastor Mrs. Fumbi Addo. I've been seeing you around in some spaces, like when I call her Auntie Chi. When Auntie Chi's daughter was getting married, I saw you and Papa there. I sincerely appreciate you and the headship of this church for giving me this privilege to come and share with the people of God. There's something, I don't know, as God permits me, I may say it, I may not say it, but the ways of God are just past finding. And the truth is that you can't run away from God. I don't know why she called me pastor. I like to be called Olanike. But sincerely speaking, for some reasons, over 20 years ago, I was supposed to be ordained a pastor, and I refused. I said I didn't need the title. I will do what God would have me do. It's not about the title. And I found out that we have been called to different spaces. You may not necessarily be on the altar, but God has an assignment for every one of us. And when you find that purpose, you will grow, you will glow, you will go. I love that foundational scripture for this convention, which is in Ezekiel. I've looked at it, and even this morning when I was in the bathroom, I just shouted, wow, because it kept expounding in my mind. I'll just lay some basic foundation and then I'll go ahead. I celebrate every pastor's wife here, every leader in the house. Can we celebrate ourselves? You see, I'm an agency empowerment coach under the Empowerment Institute US. Some of us are in places where we're still expecting people to celebrate us. You need to get to that point where you know how to celebrate yourself. You are confident of who you are, whether people celebrate you or they don't celebrate you, it doesn't matter. You are so confident. It's not pride. It's not pride, yes. It's called self-esteem. It's like Mama has been preaching my message. Maybe I should just... Because she said something. She said, people are still building houses. Where is your mind? We cannot be better than our thoughts. If you think you are small, you will remain small. A lot of people are still where they are today because they don't know who they are. Because their growth has been externalized. If someone is not approving of something about you, then it's not making sense. I always like to give examples of small things that started big. And that's what also happened in the vision that God gave Ezekiel. It started like trickles of water. And it kept rising, to the point, drops, until even boats could sail. And then the water started. That's how God expects our lives to be. So I'll just run because of time so that I can say some things and then I just allow God. So the topic is managing your finances in such a time as this. One of the books I looked at around Ezekiel 47:12, it said the river was deep enough for boats, and wherever the water of this river flows, everything will live. Let me share some quotes with us. For women, financial independence is a matter of necessity. For every woman, financial independence is a matter of necessity. Creating wealth comes down to discipline. When you invest, you are buying a day that you don't have to work. What determines your wealth is not how much you make, but how much you keep of what you make. If you will be wealthy, think of saving as well as getting. I'll still come back to some of these things. If we look at what happened in that vision that God gave Ezekiel, it tells us that God's blessing is abundant and transformative. And then if we want to look at the times that we're in, as I reflected over what God will have me share, Ecclesiastes 11:4 came to my mind. And one of the translations I looked at said, farmers who wait for perfect weather never plant. If they watch every cloud, they never harvest. Where is our mind? What are we looking at? Where is your attention? Because where your attention is what grows. And that was why I almost jumped out of my seat when she said, people are building houses. Where is your mind? It looks, for some people, this is the wrongest time, Abby, to build a house. That's what, and if you think that is it, that's what it's going to be. Honestly speaking, there's this building, for those who know our office, there's this upstairs, close to our office, that was up for sale for 55 million. You know what my husband told me? Because we just saw activities, we were interested in it, but some way, somehow, I think I've been busy, so many things, and I just told him, I said, do you know, it's like I see activities around the house, it's as if they've sold it. Because my mind was already like, we're going to move, we're going to move there. But for some people, their mind is on scarcity right now. There is not enough. And where your mind is, that is what will grow. What is financial management? Because it's very important in the times that we are in. Because we need to make the right choices. And that was what I told my husband. I said that may not have been a right choice for us at this time. There are some things I don't want. As I move on, are we still happy with me? Financial management refers to the process of planning, organizing, and controlling the financial resources of an individual, business, or organization. Planning, organizing, and controlling. The goal of financial management is to make sound decisions about how to use money to achieve financial goals, whether it's growing, savings, reducing debt, or investing for the future. Where is your attention? Given the current challenging financial climate in Nigeria, it has become even more expedient for everyone, especially women, to be strategic in managing and generating finances. I was somewhere speaking, I think sometime early this year, a church invited me. And that scripture in Timothy, can I remember where? Yeah, 1 Timothy. Please check. No, don't check 1 Timothy 5 verse 8 first. I don't know how to manage this. I would have loved to just be. Yes. I want to be with everyone. Please don't check 1 Timothy 5:8 yet. But that scripture where we like to talk about someone who is worse than an infidel, what does it say? Huh? I didn't hear the first part. That's what I want to hear. Did we say amen? I love the people here. Okay, the expo is already there. But if any, but most of the time, what do we say? Huh? And do you know where that has kept a lot of women handicapped financially? Because you are waiting for the man. I'm in the development sector. I started my organization 20 years ago. We're going to be 20 years this year. And it has become a global brand. When I started, please believe in yourself. Please dare to dream. You know what I always tell people when they are talking? Please show me your bank balance with all the talk that you have been talking about people. Let's see your bank balance. Eh? Those that spend their time running people down. Let's see your bank balance. I always tell people, if somebody comes to tell me somebody is saying something, I tell them, go and tell them to use it to collect money from GT Bank. Do you think the owner of Dambo School has the time to be talking about people? She started that school from a garage. Everything big starts small. And I'm telling you, it's never too late. The moment you catch it, it's time to run. There are people with big dreams, but those dreams have died because they shared with the wrong people or because they didn't believe in themselves. Someone told me one day that she wanted to start a crèche, and someone told her, do you know what it takes to start a crèche? There's a woman who started a crèche under a tree after her husband threw her out They built their wealth together, but it got to a time he threw her out. She's a half caste. But she loves children so much, and then she started taking care of children. There was this tree in her mother's house. You know, people would come and drop their children, and she would take care of them so well. By the time the parents come back, and then they started thinking that our children cannot continue to stay under trees. Let's put money together and rent a place for this woman. And from there, she has one of the biggest schools in Port Harcourt today. Someone could also have killed that dream that who will bring their children under a tree. Mind who you share your dreams with. Let me just give us some key points and then we'll speak reality. How these things will not become just theoretical. I'll give us real life examples. And please also be careful. It's not everybody. And that's why there are spaces I go to, I check my spirit. There are some things I don't share. I say this with all humility and to the glory of God. We've moved from a point where we don't even have to wait. Once I have an idea of something I want to do, we're not waiting for anyone. We held International Women's Day this year. We had over 2,000 women. It was a struggle to keep the numbers down. And some of the monies that we were promised, we had even spent money before it has not, I say it with all humility. But there was also a time when it was quite challenging at the beginning. I love my elder sister so much. She lives outside the country. She's always been the Oyinbo. I'm sure you know her. Maybe when I get close and mention her. She's always been the Oyinbo. Has always been psychedelic and everything. And when I started my work, I was facing sexual harassment on the jobs I took after working. But I've always had this childhood dream, you know, of doing something about the environment. So when I had bosses that will call me my Agbani Darego or something, or what are you doing this evening, I will resign. Sometimes people will think I'm crazy. I got to a point I said, I'm not working for anyone again. Even if I'm going to work, not for any man. And so I started. And it got to a time, any money that comes into my hand, I would, if I'm not trying to print flyer, I'm trying to, it's not now that you can do internet anywhere. And then when you go to cyber cafe, I may be the only lady there amidst so many years ago, so many guys. I'll have to leave on time. And then my sister will ask me, what exactly are you doing? You better go and get a job. Today she's celebrating me. Today she's proud of me. Today she's saying, that's my sister. So for some of us, the enemy that you are thinking, or the village people, even your own family can be village people. Even you yourself, you can be the village person. My sister said, go get a job. But thank God my dad believed in me. I'd lost my mom as I was graduating from the university. My dad believed in me and believed in the work. And kept supporting me. Where we do writings, how we edit. I met a woman some years ago in one of the ministries. And when I told her about what I wanted to do, when I found out, oh, this woman, she's the PAMSEC of this ministry. I'm sure as a woman, she will support me. I was much younger then. And she asked me, she said, are you trying to take over our job? That thing almost killed my spirit. But I started finding expression through my writings. And then because a contact in the US knew that I loved writing, she introduced me to a platform called Walpole's. At some point, because I was finding expression there, it was almost as if I was working for them. The same organization now asked me, are they paying you? I said, no, but I'm finding expression. And before I knew it, there was a call for proposal, something called Voices of Our Future Correspondent. I applied, I didn't get it. But someone sent me a message saying that, I love your writings. Why don't you try again? Because I was running this organization. I was running a master's program in Akure. So I was back and forth. So I couldn't meet up with some timelines for assignment. He said, try again. And I tried again. And I'm telling you that I became one of 30 women who made it for the Voices of Our Future Correspondent. They narrowed down to 10. I was among them. They had narrowed down to 6. Eventually, I was one of 3 who had 16 speaking engagements across the United States. What would have happened to that opportunity if maybe I felt my sister said, go get a job, and I stopped believing in my dream? I hope I'm making sense. So we'll just look at some key strategies for the times that we're in. For some of us, we have prepared ahead. Like Mommy Addo said, that chicken. Because she has prepared ahead. But it doesn't matter if you have not prepared ahead. God is a God of now. For those who have prepared, your story is like what happened in Egypt. When Pharaoh had a dream and Joseph came and interpreted and said, famine is coming. Let's save up, let's save up, let's save up. So some of us, we have saved up and we're not feeling anything now. But for some people, you didn't know this time was coming, but it's not too late. It's not too late. There's something in our hands. There's something that can still bring about that transformation, that financial breakthrough, that financial security, that financial freedom that you are seeking. God is not a magician. God is not a magician. God is a God of principles. And if you follow the principles, that's why Dangote is rich. That's why Bill Gates is rich. Do they go to church? That's why Mark Zuckerberg. So it means if we are connected, we should be doing better. Some of us are no longer dreaming. I know one of my agency empowerment workshops, I met a woman. She was so full of regrets. Guess why she stopped her business? She was trying to hurt her husband. And then she now became a wife who was asking for 5 naira, 10 naira. How many people have been there? It's not a good place to be. Where your hand is. I was talking to some young people. We celebrated World Environment Day recently, and I was inspiring the young ladies there. Some coppers also came to our office. They sent about almost 10 coppers and all, sincerely speaking. You will weep for education in Nigeria. It was difficult to find one copper that we could pick. Written English, 0. Spoken English. So I had to start challenging the girls. I said, instead of spending the whole of your life WhatsApping or Facebook, A lot of opportunities. I have a young girl in my office. She's 27 now. I always tell her, do you know I envy you? Because there are some things that you're exposed to now that if I knew them then, I should be crossing my leg now and money will just be flowing into my account. Great opportunities. Create a realistic budget. You know, I was telling you about a building now. You cannot have maybe 60 million naira and you just want to take the 60 million if you don't know what to fall back on, except you know maybe you are planning to sell it in another 2 months, 3 months, and then you make something on it. You have to be realistic. Create a realistic budget. If you have 10,000 naira, but let me give you a good strategy. I've always I don't know where I got that thing from, but if I have money in my hands, there is nothing you can bring to me. I remember when I was working with DITV, I was Halifa Baba Ahmed's special assistant, the owner of DITV, the late Halifa Baba Ahmed. And when they bring, I was practically the one earning the highest there. When they bring fish, even those that were not earning 1/4 of what, even 1/10, they will buy fish, they will buy oil, they will buy, as they are bringing everything. By the time those people come to collect their money is minus. There are some people, Ashwebi. There was a girl that attended a workshop I did, and she had been almost dying. After she came to that workshop, she was like, hey, so she can go to this wedding without necessarily buying. Sorry, Ashwebi people. I didn't say they should not buy your Ashwebi. She said, so I can go to this wedding without. The next time I saw her, she said, in fact, she danced more than those that were Ashwebi. That do I know that some of the people now, they are chasing them for balance for Ashwebi. She has her peace. I know someone also who I had just spoken to, and then he got a job. Very big, juicy job, funded by Department for International Development, UK project. He called me and said, thank God I met you. Do you know that my colleagues, it was supposed to be a 7-year project, that my colleagues, immediately we resumed, you know, some of these banks came, car dealers, knowing that they have big money, said, why don't you pick this Jeep? You know, you can pay overtime and all that. Unfortunately, when Brexit happened, when Britain separated from that project, crashed and they all lost their jobs. But he was already building his house. He's living in that house now. Save for emergencies. Set aside money in an emergency fund to help weather financial storms. Some of our women do that. They have loan groups, they have saving groups, where maybe every week they contribute a certain amount of money. At the end of the year, they share it. And if you are part of it, you qualify to get a loan. That's also very strategic. But you can also not go and join such groups if you are not trustworthy. We've given people loan and they say it's government's money. We've given people loan during COVID. Madam Juliana, can you wave your hand? Superwoman. During COVID, we had given her group loan. Do you know that these women kept paying that money? And I was wondering, I said, where are this? And because of that, we did a food relief for them. We bought food and we told all of them, come and collect. That is trust. And integrity. Don't go and join people's loan group or savings group and then you are planning to escape. Track your spending. Keep track of your spending. Where is your money going to? What exactly are you doing? How much have you spent this week? Do you need to slow down? Do you need to make adjustments? No matter how you love roasted corn, there are times you just pass. Guess what? I can say this confidently. When I was building my organization, I didn't even know I was practicing these things unconsciously. Now imagine if you are doing it deliberately. What would happen? I met people who will ask me, but you are the founding director of this organization. What kind of phone are you using? I remember one time my younger brother had abandoned one techno phone like that. Like the whole screen was gone. You have to hit it. And that was the phone I was using. And then some people will see me and say, in fact, there was someone in Abuja, we served together. It was the papa of the fellowship. He said I should stop following him with this kind of phones. You are traveling out, and I said you will not understand. I'm building something. Look at my phone today. And I say it with all humility. If iPhone 30 come out, if I want to buy it, I will buy it. I say this with all humility. But where did it start from? There were days of sacrifice. There were days I will not buy a shoebi. There were days somebody will bring something, I'll say, oh, it looks good, but I need to print some documents. Today, the office that we are in, I bought it in less than 2 years. See, surround yourself with some kind of people that would shake your foundation in a manner that your kwakwalwa will be walking. There's this Hajia Aisha I met, a Muslim woman. She built with her husband and he threw out of the house. That woman is doing fine without her husband, and she positioned all her children in very good places. Very strategic woman. Her daughter married former SSGs. Very strategic woman. Do you know where she was living in the northern parts? It's a GRA, one GRA. You know, one GRA is around that Open University, not far. Very organized, beautiful area. A lot of these Muslim rich people stay there. She was living there. She sold the house. When I first met her, then I wasn't married. She said, Nike, do you have any property? I said, no. She said, make sure. Even if you marry the richest man on earth, make sure that you own your own property. It came from a Muslim. And I started thinking differently. And even when I met my husband, I said, we're not going to live in a rented house. We're not going to live in a rented house. Auntie Chi knows the place we bought. I told him, he wasn't feeling well then. I said, bring all the money you have. I will bring all the money that I have. We bought that place, 28 million, is worth over 100 million today. Are you angry with me? I bought a property. My husband is supporting me, telling me, let's go. Have you called the lawyer? It's my own stuff. My husband will tell me that everything you own, even your office, your staff, I own all of you. I'll say, yes, sir. Don't limit yourself as a woman. There's a woman who was selling corn, roast akara around Dambo. She used to make pap for somebody else who was more comfortable. And then when they were moving to their own house, they had finished building their house, she now came to meet this akara woman that, please, you make plenty pap for me because we're moving out of this area. The akara woman said, me too, I just finished building the house in Goningora. I'm moving from akara. Some people have spent so much money that could have built houses because they were looking at it that it is small. Some years ago, I kept talking to someone who works in FCDA. I said, I want a property in Abuja. I want a property in Abuja. One day he just called me. Some years ago, he said, there's this guy that wants to sell his land. He's desperate for money around Kubwa. He said he should go for about 8 million. I said, 8 million, I don't have that kind of money. Oh. He said, okay, I'll just connect both of you. We kept talking. The guy said he cannot go below 4 million. I scraped and scratched and everything. I got 3.8 million. I offered it to him. He said I should complete it. Okay, I should owe him. Part of it, I shouldn't have gotten there, but since I'm talking about it now, avoid debts. As much as you can, avoid debts. Somebody will say, take the Ashoibi, don't worry, pay later. If you cannot see where the money will come from, or you are not seeing it like this, that don't even do it. I told him, no, that's even for an investment. I said, no, I cannot owe you, don't worry. He was so desperate to do his father's Owambe. He came back and sold that land to me at 3.8. Guess what it's worth now? Do you know that 3.8 could have gone on a car? I didn't buy a car then. I will go to certain places, I will still climb bike. I will enter bus. CEO, executive director. Fake packaging. Do you know why we have gotten ourselves trapped in some ways? We care too much about the external, not what is happening internally. Even when God is telling you something inside, my daughter, just wait, it's just a matter of time, your car is going to come. I remember my neighbor then, when I was not married and I was in my dad's house, she will say, Abi, we should borrow you one of our cars. Abi, we should. And when I bought a car, even the husband came and saluted me. I knew I was ready for it, not because I wanted to impress anybody. It is in Nigeria that you will go to a place where gateman is opening this thing. The gateman doesn't have cow, but because you came with leg, the gateman will look down on you and you too, you'll be feeling. It's time that we internalize our growth. Connects with your deeper self. That is really who you are. Discover yourself. I'll leave us with 4 questions. I hope my time is up. Almost. So let me quickly. So I said track spending, negotiates for better prices on goods and services. We were in Abuja recently, and the hotel where we stayed was quite expensive. It was a World Bank thing, so you can imagine where they will lodge us. So my husband needed to go somewhere, And then we both went to the car park, and then just somewhere still within Asokoro, the guy said 6,000 naira. My husband and I, we said 6,000 naira. For where? This place that we're going to. You want to impress Abi? It's not that we didn't have the 6,000 naira. We just felt it was not necessary. Eventually, we called an Uber. Uber took us 1,000. The next day, my husband told me that since I was busy with my meeting, he took a bike to go somewhere. And when he got there, he gave the bike man 1,000 naira. And then the man, because of where he picked my husband from, he said, okay, sir, see, that's where you are going to. My husband said, my change. He said, look at you, no even get money. So you can see how people control people's. And then you want to feel good. Yet, maybe that 1,000, if you want to give, you will give. Avoid debts. Work at being financially independent, stable, and secure. The example I gave those young girls, I said, can you imagine if Alhaji has a contract and he's looking down, he's not happy. And you say, Alhaji, what is happening? He says, I need 10 million to balance the contract's money. And then you say, okay, give me the account number. I asked those Muslim girls, I said, will Alhaji bring another? You become an asset. We should make ourselves assets. That's why God called us help. We're supposed to complement. So it is not any man, if any man, is anyone. There are households that are headed by women. So you want to say because, or a widow, because the husband has died, she should wait for the husband to be feeding them from where? You know what has happened to a lot of women when their husbands die? If they have bad in-laws, everything is taken and they're back to square one. But at least when you have your own, it belongs to both of you, you and your husband. But at least there is a line if illegal people want to come. Have alternative or multiple income sources or streams. Not just one source. But take calculated risk. I was at our lawyer's office yesterday, and she was showing me a file that she has. She's a lawyer, successful lawyer, who has most of her clients because she does all this international adoption. People come from outside the country if they want to adopt and all that. So she earns her money in dollars. She's doing very well. But do you know that she's investing in grains? Grains. She be in a local business. Abi? I met someone, when I said I was a grassroots woman leader, she said she's not a grassroots person. Someone said she's confused. Very important, give. Give. Do you know this is a good time to give? You don't know? Okay, I want to do giving now. Let me ask. I'm going to give somebody 20,000 naira. Here. I will transfer it now. Who will get it? None of our women know. Can someone tell me? Nobody from Wise. Auntie Chi's daughter, you are somehow, I'm suspecting you. The question will go together. Let me connect the quiz. When was World Environment Day? I'm a green person, so that's just it. Mama said no shitting. Shitting. I'm also a Yoruba person, so no shitting. For those that don't understand our Yoruba language, no cheating. Don't check online. When was World Environment Day? Ma? Okay, you have gotten 10,000. Remaining the half. It's only one person. She's gotten it. She said 5th of June. So remaining half. What's the theme? The theme of this year's World Environment Day? Do you know what? You have really tried. I'll give you your 20,000. Is land restoration? You people don't tempt me here. You know, I was in at What We Can meeting in Abuja, and I kept asking questions and giving money. And I said, should I continue? One woman said, no. I said, why? She said that we don't want to finish your money. I said, is it your money? Because you are wearing a shade of green, I'll give you your 20,000. So it's land restoration, desertification, and drought resilience. Don't mind me, everywhere I like to teach nature. So we have learned something about the environment. That's why I'm wearing green. June 5th every year is World Environment Day. That's why our women, you see green on their ashwebi. Please give. This is a good time to give. Some of us even have things. You know, every seed speaks. Every seed speaks. I beg you. See, when you are giving some kind of money, you are squeezing it. You may have 100 naira. See, I've given 200 before, and God just helped me with this thing about giving, that I picked it up in good time. When I was in secondary school, I used to give whether 10 naira or something, fellowship. I went to boarding house, Federal Government College, Kaduna. After secondary school, when I got to university, I said, God, I'll not be giving you the offering I was giving you when I was in secondary school. So I started giving, I think, 50 naira. When I now started serving, I increased it to 100 naira. After service, I didn't have a job. I just told God, it's time to be giving you 200 naira. One day I went to church, I had only 200 naira in my bag. I was like, how will I do it? I just told myself, I said, okay, God, I'll look for someone that will drop me somewhere close, even I have to trek the rest and all that. I dropped the 2,000 naira. 200 naira. God blew my mind that day in church. As I was waiting for somebody who was living nearby, she was gisting and everything, I told her I would follow her. Somebody brought a check to me. You know what I saw on the check? 2,000 naira. And that day I told God, I said, there is no going back. Give. Be generous. You can look at even the Proverbs 31 woman. Look at it. She was a generous person. I think check Proverbs 31:20. It spoke about her generosity. Bible in Proverbs said, there is one who withholds and tends to poverty, And there is one who scattereth, yet increaseth. Scatter, scatter. Don't give to people because you want to get back. The summary: budget, save, and invest. Budget, save, and invest. Investing can be a powerful tool for women to grow their wealth and become more financially stable. Invest in a variety of assets so as to spread risk. You can invest in land, invest in grain, but just make sure you understand it very well. So great financial habits: reduce spending on non-essential. If you don't really need something, you don't have to buy it. Make your own food, clothes, household. Some people, you can easily make smoothie in your house. You carry, what is it that they are doing in that smoothie shop? If you have a smoothie shop, sorry. But you know, in the times that we're in, I think your home smoothie will be richer. Shop wisely, bargain, sales. You can go and window shop so that you decide, you understand what you really want, or you plan for it. You have to be financially prudent. So let me, where do we get money from? From working, isn't it? So let me leave us with this poem by Khalil Gabriel. Okay. It is about having a work vision. Is it not from working that we get money? One of the ways, though, that we get money, if you're also nice to people. Some people are complaining, my uncle does not want to give me. How nice have you been to your uncle? When you were living with him, you didn't wash his car, you didn't wash clothes, you didn't, now, giving, it's not only money. Your time, your love, your care is all important. So I end with this. And also the last verse of the Bible. Of Proverbs 31. So let me read this. When you work, you fulfill a part of earth's furthest dream assigned to you. When the dream was born, and in keeping yourself with labor, you are in truth loving life. And to love life through labor is to be intimate with life's inmost secrets. And what is it to walk with love? It is to weave the cloth with threads drawn from your heart, even as if your beloved were to wear that cloth. It is to build a house with affection, even as if your beloved were to dwell in that house. It is to sow seeds with tenderness and reap the harvest with joy, even as if your beloved were to eat the fruit. It is to charge all things you fashion with the breath of your own spirit, and to know that all the blessed dead are standing about you and watching. Work is love made visible. And if you cannot walk with love, but only with distaste, it is better that you should leave your work and sit at the gate of the temple and take alms of those who walk with joy. For if you bake bread with indifference, you bake a bitter bread that feeds half man's hunger. And if you grudge the crushing of the grapes, your grape distills a poison in the wine. And if you sing if you sing though as angels and love not the singing, you muffle man's ear to the voices of the day and the voices of the night. Does it make sense to us? So can we go to Proverbs 31, the last verse, and read it together?
Media, Proverbs 31, The last verse.
Is there? Can we read it together?
Give her of the fruits of her hands, and let her own work praise her in the gates.
Thank you all. I appreciate you.
Wow.